My name is D. Lanier Shook, and I am the information collector. Today, I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location, and you deserve an explanation. So, a few weeks ago, I had prepared a special report. I ordered it up, but then it got stuck on a cargo ship off the West Coast. Like so much of the holiday merchandise. Well, Merle went to look for it, and we have not seen him since. So we are in the process of searching for Merle, and unfortunately, time is tight. I've got a flight to catch. I will say, if you hear airplane in the background, don't worry. If you hear coyotes in the background, don't worry. If you hear mountain the lions in the background, I would start to worry. We'll leave it at that. For 2 years, we've been grappling with an apparent zoonotic disease, COVID-19. Zoonotic diseases are not new. Most flus come from the birds. This is one reason why when you go near a chicken yard, they've got so much security it's not funny. And all the chicken yards now, they're in buildings. They don't have them running loose because they don't want migrating birds to land and make the other birds sick. So the reason I mentioned this article is this relates to what we're going through right now. Last Wednesday, Oxford University issued a press release involving the results of a hedgehog survey. Regarding MRSA in hedgehogs. Yes, antibacterial resistance. The results were published the same day in the magazine Nature. 275 hedgehogs from 27 hedgehog rescue centers were swabbed from samples to be analyzed. This is a very unique story. 2 of these centers were in New Zealand, 5 were in the British Isles, 2 were in France, 2 were in Spain, 2 were in Denmark, and there was 1 each in Greece, Romania, Italy, the Czech Republic, and Portugal. And by the way, the hedgehogs in New Zealand were imported. So hedgehogs are not native to New Zealand. Well, they weren't. The analysis of the 900 samples taken from the hedgehogs reveal fascinating insights into the MRSA bacteria's lineage and sublineage. In other words, you've got families of MRSA. This is a bacteria family, and they have new little families that grow out as they develop. We've seen this recently with we had COVID-19, then they had the Delta strain, then they had the Omicron strain, along with other strains. Same thing with this bacteria. Now, the samples were taken from the noses, the skin, and the feet of the prickly little critters. And of the 900 samples taken, 200 contained antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Now, the article speculated that this was a result. Apparently, hedgehogs have more than one bacteria on their skin, and the one bacteria literally produces its own version of an antibiotic. So they developed this to keep the bacteria in check. Although the study concluded that there was a level of hedgehog antibiotic resistance prior to the human use of antibiotics, beginning with penicillin back over 100 years ago, there is a very somber warning here. Researchers believe that, and I'm guessing they looked at the development of the sublineages to figure this out. In 1820, there were only 5 sublineages. There were only 5 varieties of MRSA bacteria on hedgehogs. By 1840, there were 10. So in 20 years, it took 20 years for the bacteria to grow and multiply and be that fruitful. By 1950, over 100 years later, there were only 25. So wherever this started, it only increased to 25 in 130 years. By 1960, it had doubled to 50. By 2000, it had jumped to 75. By 2010, there were 100. And by 2020, there were 130 sublineages of MRSA bacteria in hedgehogs. So that's a fairly steep growth, and the articles I saw, without doing too much research, did mark 1950 as the beginning of antibiotic resistance in humans. They say there's no stated danger to humans from this bacteria in hedgehogs. If you pick up a hedgehog, evidently you're not going to get MRSA, probably. But it is a warning about zootropic illnesses. These are jumped from animals to humans, and this does include coronaviruses. Not just coronaviruses, also. Petting zoos, snakes and other critters have spread E. coli. And armadillos can carry leprosy. If you're healthy, it's not a problem. But there was a guy in Arkansas, I believe. He had eaten, apparently he had been exposed years ago to armadillo. He may have even eaten it. And he got sick. And when his immune system went down, he contracted leprosy. And that's what they blamed it on. So avoid armadillos. Literally, a scientist said if he hit an armadillo, he'd stop and wash his car off. In case you were worried, the paper reassured us all that the hedgehogs, quote, did not incur pain, suffering, distress, or lasting harm from the swabs. And the researchers were considerate enough, they were from Oxford after all, not to ask the hedgehogs their age or gender.